To understand parallel and relative minor scales, let's start by taking a look at something you should all be pretty familiar with. Something that you probably wish you could have been completely done with after filling it in for the umpteenth time on level 8. Sorry, level 9s. There's no escaping the circle of fifths. Now, as you probably already know by now, these circles of fifths are pretty easy to fill out as long as you know the pattern. You know that the C major scale has 0 flats and 0 sharps, so if you start with that on top, you can then use the order of sharps and order of flats mnemonic devices to fill in the blanks, starting with cats, get, down, ant, elephants, boogie, fat sharp, cat sharp, and going back the other way with flats, starting with C, can, feast, bears flat, eat flat, a flat, delicious flat, garbage flat, can flat. And to do the minor, you just remember that the A minor scale is the one that has 0 flats and 0 sharps, and then you can use the mnemonic devices again, and, elephants, boogie, and so on, and going the other way with flats, A, delicious, garbage, and so on. Bam! 14 easy points on your theory test. But so what? Well, let's take a look at this in the context of theory. The mnemonic devices are great for memorizing order and quickly filling in the circle of fifths and stuff, but there's a little more to major and minor scales than just that. By definition, a major scale is a scale that, starting on the tonic note, follows the step pattern: whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. If we follow this pattern, starting on, say, a C, so whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step, we get that the C major scale has 0 sharps and 0 flats. So what about the minor scale then? By definition, a natural minor scale has a slightly different step pattern, starting on the tonic: whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step. So if we repeat this pattern again with C, so whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step. And that's how we discover that the C minor scale has 3 flats. Now to test it again, let's run the major scale pattern starting on an F. So the F major scale has 1 flat. And the minor? The minor scale has 4 flats. Okay, so what about D? The pattern tells us that the D major scale has 2 sharps, and the minor has 1 flat. By following these patterns, we haven't just filled in several slots on our circles of fifths. We've actually just found 3 parallel minor scales. That's right, a parallel minor scale is a scale that follows the natural minor step pattern starting on the same tonic note as its counterpart major scale. So, to find the parallel minor key signature, all you do is start on the same tonic note as the major scale and follow that natural minor step pattern. Or, if you have it in front of you, you could also use your circles of fifths. And if you do that for a while, you may start to notice a trend with the key signatures. Let's take a look at our 3 example scales. The C major scale has no flats or sharps. The C minor scale, as we saw, has 3 flats. That's a 3 flat difference. The F major scale has 1 flat, and the F minor scale has 4. 4 minus 1 is 3 flat difference again. So does that mean the D major and minor scale have a 3 flat difference too? I mean, its key signature has sharps. Well, let's add 3 flats to the key signature. The first flat cancels out the C sharp. The second flat cancels out the F sharp, and that leaves 1 flat left over. So lo and behold, another 3 flat difference. Turns out this is true for all scales that follow those major and natural minor step patterns. So how do you find the parallel minor scale? Short answer, add 3 flats to the key signature. But hopefully now you know why that works. So then you might ask, what is a relative minor scale? And how do you remember the difference? Well, think about it this way. About 2 parallel line segments. They look almost exactly the same. Same angle, same direction, same length, but they're not the same. They're 2 different lines. There's only one small difference that sets them apart. Similarly, a parallel minor scale looks almost identical to its counterpart major scale. There's only one small difference that sets these two scales apart, and that difference is key signature. On the other hand, think about two people who are related to each other. They're entirely different people. The way they might look, the way they might sound, the way they might do things. But because they're related, they often have a key trait that joins them together, whether it's their eye color or hair color. Similarly, a relative minor scale is an entirely different scale from its major counterpart, but it has a small similarity that relates it to its counterpart major scale, and that is, again, key signature. In finding parallel and relative minor scales, key signature is the key. So a relative minor scale is an entirely different scale from its major counterpart, but it shares the same key signature as the major scale. So that makes part of the question really easy. Look, the key signature has been done for you. So all you have left to do is figure out which minor scale that particular key signature belongs to. And you can do that really easily with, big surprise, the circle of fifths.